All right, Nick. Cincinnati Bengals just are coming from the offseason where they were in the Super Bowl last year. And it's that time of year where there's not a lot to talk about. So let's talk about whether or not the Bengals make it back to the playoffs, back to the Super Bowl this year. Let's do a little breakdown of the Bengals schedule. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. But before we get into it all, obviously, we want to ask the Bengals fans, let us know what you think. What is the Bengals schedule going to be this year? What's your win-loss record? Put it in the comments below before you watch the video, preferably. And let's just see what you have to say. But anyways, Nick, you ready to get into the schedule breakdown?
Yeah. So what made us go into this is Sports Illustrated's Connor Orr actually came out with some, dialogue about Joe Burrow, saying Joe Burrow is built like Peyton Manning. This is what Orr said. He says Burrow is not the kind of quarterback who flames out. He's going to perpetually will his team back into the playoff tournament every year. He's that good. That's very high praise. So, in order to get back into the playoff tournament, you got to win enough games to get in. So let's get into it, Miles. What's their first round of games look like next season?
All right. First up, I'm going to go through what we got here. We have week 1, a win against Steelers' divisional opponent. We got a loss to the Cowboys week 2. Win week 3 versus the Jets. Win week 4 versus the Dolphins. A loss to the Ravens week 5. And a loss to the Saints week 6. What do you have on any of this, Nick?
Yeah, so I think this is, starting out the gate, the Bengals fall victim to a pretty tough schedule. Going to Dallas early in the year is tough. Dallas scores a lot of points, especially when they're healthy. They have to play the Ravens, who are presumably going to be healthy earlier in the year with that revamped secondary. That's tough. And the Saints are going to be a lot better than people think they are. I think they're one of the contending teams in the NFC. I think they're kind of a sleeper team. So this is a brutal start to the season for the Bengals, but I think they get big wins against the Steelers. They handle business against the Jets and Dolphins to kind of at least weather the early storm.
Absolutely, and I pretty much agree with all of that. Obviously, it's tough playing divisional opponent early, but I think at home the Bengals have the edge there. Obviously, going to Jerry World early is going to be pretty tough for them as well. So I tend to agree with what you have to say there, but nonetheless, let's move on to our second batch of games. Next up, we have Week 7, a win against the Falcons. Week 8, a win against the Browns. Week 9, a win against the Panthers. A Week 10 bye. Week 11, a loss to the Steelers. And Week 12, a win, or loss rather, against the Titans.
Yeah, so obviously getting the Falcons and Browns, Panthers 3-game run there, that the schedule kind of lightened up a little bit. The Browns have a good roster, but as we all know, the quarterback situation is a disaster. I think they're going to stink this season. Whoever plays quarterback looks like maybe Jacoby Brissett. It's not going to work out well. And the Bengals, I think, are going to beat them pretty handily. I think after the bye is where it gets tough. They have to go to Pittsburgh, then they play the Titans. Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh is always tough, especially these divisional matchups. I think that's a tough game to win. And Tennessee is a tough place to play. They're a good roster, good coaching staff there. So I don't think they're able to overcome the Titans in that situation.
Yeah, obviously, like with divisional opponents, you usually split games as a safe bet. But against the Browns are just I don't even know what to. You can't take them seriously anymore until they get everything worked out. But I agree with all of that. The only one I'm questionable on is by week 9, are Baker Mayfield and the Panthers clicking? Who knows? But I think that the Bengals are a much stronger team than the Panthers, so it's probably going to be a win for them there. But moving to our third and last sheet of games, we have a Week 13 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 14 win against the Browns. Week 15 win against the Bucks. A Week 16 loss to the Patriots. Week 17 win against the Bills. And Week 18 win against the Ravens.
Yeah, so this is where the playoff kind of moxie and experience of the Burrow-led Bengals kind of takes hold. They win 4 of their final 5 to get, finish the season strong. The Browns, like we said, they're terrible. I think they're going to demolish them there. I think the game they go down to Tampa and they beat a Buccaneers team that isn't as good as it's been the last couple of years kind of send a statement. I think they have to go to Foxborough late in the year, which is never fair. Bill Belichick's iPhone somehow goes straight to God. Weird weather always seems to happen, and those games are just tough. Then they handle the Bills at home. I think that's sort of a really, really big win for the Bengals team and kind of sets the tone as they kind of gear into the playoffs. And I think they finish off the year with a kind of a rebound game. They lost to Baltimore earlier in the year. It's what we're predicting. I think they beat the Ravens at the end of the year, and Burrow outduels Lamar Jackson to allow the Bengals to finish strong.
Yeah, and it's almost like 5 marquee games to end of the season, 5 like primetime worthy games.
Yeah.
Versus Kansas City is going to be huge. Versus Tampa is going to be huge. Versus Patriots, young quarterbacks doing big game. Bills are going to be huge. Ravens going to be huge. So the Bengals, all in all, they have a pretty tough schedule.
Brutal schedule.
To wrap it up, though, Nick, we've said the Bengals are going to be 10-7 this season, second in the AFC North, and they have earned themselves a wild card spot, which I'm sure they don't mind. What do you think about this?
Yeah, because obviously we talked about brutal schedule, so just getting into the playoffs is going to be big for Cincinnati just to overcome. I mean, you brought up the last like 6 or 7 games; those are all playoff teams, or at least teams with playoff level talent. That is ridiculous to get through that gauntlet and finish strong and get into the playoffs. That's what we're predicting, and I think Bengals fans, maybe you were hoping for 12, 13 win season. I think the AFC is too tough to get there, but I think just getting into the tournament like the Bengals proved in 2021 is all they need to make a big run.
All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.